Once upon a time, way, way back when, in 1986, a time of adventurous animated mice playing and frolicking through Hollywood on the silver screen was the it thing to do on a Friday night, watching those mice having their little adventures. A little movie came out called An American Tail. Hi, welcome to UPR. I'm Erin. Remember? Anyway, there's a movie that I chose for tonight. It's very exciting. It's my pick for Patriotic Movie Month, An American Tail, a wonderful movie about immigration and America in the late 1800s. Join us as we review An American Tail, starring Fievel. Tonight I have with me the executive consultant. Hi.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't know I was coming out first. I wasn't prepared at all, but it's nice to see you, E.
Good, me either.
It's nice to see you. It's you said remember me or something like you haven't been on a while. Oh, you haven't. But it's good to see you now. It's always good to see you. You bring such a radiance to the show.
Sure. I also have with me, for some reason, Mufasa. Why?
That's a
What's
win.
up with that?
There's no cats in America.
Well, we soon come to learn that was a lie.
Yes.
So let me get into this.
Who's more powerful than Mufasa? Come on, that's the best cat in the world. Shoot fly.
He would never harm Fievel and his family, okay? He understood the circle of life and how you have to let people be people, and be with their families unless they're your dinner. But he would need a mouse, right? Like that's not something that
you don't know that. He might have learned from his father how to learn the mouse. His brother was eating mice. You know what I'm saying? So you never know. The movie starts with his brother eating mice.
He ate it?
Well, the bird came in anyway. You know what?
Oh yeah, let me get into this movie. I'm sorry.
Movie, please.
Sorry. So, An American Tail. A young mouse named Fievel Mousekewitz, played by Philip Glasser, and his family immigrate from Russia to the United States by boat after their home is destroyed by cats. During the trip, a fierce storm throws Fievel from the ship, and he loses contact with his family. Luckily, he manages to sail to New York in a bottle. How did he not starve? Anyway, their Irish mouse Bridget, an Italian mouse Tony, and a kindly cat named Tiger help Fievel search for his loved ones. Okay, I'm gonna get into why I picked this movie because number one, I don't know, something about it just came out at a good time prior to my being born. And I was just getting into all of these movies that were made in like the mid to late 80s. Disney kind of had a great run at that point, and they were like really pumping out the hits. But then this movie was like in the works, and it pretty much shut it down with the animated family film, whatever. Something about the animation of this film really captured the magic of Disney without being too like saturated. There was a lot of detail in every single set or setting, especially as they're traveling through the ocean. I just really enjoyed the message of this movie, the visuals of this movie. It was just a really good time. I really related to this family, and I loved the fact that you felt their pain having lost Fievel. He was such a little baby and a little sweetheart, and it was just so traumatizing. I don't know. As a kid, like there were moments of this movie that was just like, oh my god, if that was me, I'd be devastated. And it really like it portrayed the urgency of the whole situation, from the fact that they were trying to escape this oppressive force in Russia, um, and the fact that they're in a brand new space, like they're hopeful as a family, they're hopeful as a community getting out of Russia during that really crazy time. And you see that the community that they are able to build really supports each other, even when they figure out, oh wait, this is overrun by cats as well. Like we're dealing with the exact same problems, racism, um, and anti-Semitism. Um, but they band together, and it doesn't matter like where you come from and where your walk of life is. As you heard, like there's this revolution led by this teenage girl named Bridget, and she's Irish, and it's just like really cute how everybody just bands together and kind of fortifies their right to be here, their right to be in America, and their right to um, generate their own American experience without trying to assimilate or be subject to the same oppression. You just can't escape it. I don't know. But the design of this movie was really awesome, very inspiring. It was so detailed. The music was really epic. Like as I was watching this movie, I am able to recall the lyrics to the songs. Like they were really, I don't know, they were like mostly upbeat. The main hit of this movie obviously is Somewhere Out There, and it's a sad song, but it's also like a longing and yearning. And there's something about music that is like that in ballads that it just really, I don't know, it gets me excited. I like it. I don't know. Let me chill. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I was really impressed with the rewatchability of this movie. Like it was good. But Mufasa,
Well,
over there eating mice.
okay. Well, all right. One thing about this movie is that I was watching this movie, I felt like this movie had Ronald Reagan all over it. The reason I say that is because it's 1986. It's literally right before the end of the Cold War. Reagan just released a Reagan doctrine, and there was all this conflict in in Russia and the whole situation with Afghanistan and all of that. And I felt like a lot of this movie was marketing for people to come to America, at least for Russians to come to America. Because at that time, or at least like within that time, I mean, I remember the marketing that was going on for people to come over here, and the marketing that my family certainly received for people to come over here. But then at the same time, that was right in the middle of the Vietnam War, so the doors were wide open when the goddamn Vietnam War was going on. But I digress. A lot of this marketing was just going on. Like, it was very Ronald Reagan because it's definitely showing a shining city on a hill. There's no cats in America. There's no this, there's no that. And people used to talk about how the streets of New York are paved with gold and all this other stuff. And they were saying in this how the streets of New York are paved with cheese. Like people would just come up with all of these little things because they just fantasize about not being held back, not being oppressed, not being all these things. I mean, like, look, in DR, we got to buy the police. Over here, we're running from the police. You know what I mean? So, like, it's that part of it was just amazing. Other than that, I feel like it's definitely the immigrant story coming in on the boat and then just experiencing all of these new things. The mouse with the Brooklyn accent, I loved. And I'm saying this as a New Yorker.
Tony.
I miss a Brooklyn accent so much. You come to New York, you barely find it, and that's one of the reasons why New York is losing community. But that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I was very happy to hear him. I was very happy to see him. I felt like the love scene was really, really fast. Like, how do you give a girl a half dead flower and then all of a sudden she's with her? Like, that's come on.
They're teenagers.
I mean, wow, bro. Like, that was great. You know what I mean? Like, that was quick. They didn't even say a word to each other. I was like, wow, the mouse world is awesome. Love that. I thought that was hilarious. Loved when the politician guy was looking at the dead mouse and then wrote down his name and wrote down ghost votes. That was crazy to me. When I saw that, I was what is this? Get out of here. Don't show this now. But that's another reason why I feel like this movie is very Ronald Reagan. I really feel like the Ronald Reagan administration funded part of this. But at the same time, and mind you, they were even talking about bringing Puerto Rico into the fold. Like they were still in their mode of expansion and making the country bigger and all of that other stuff, and adding more people and all of that other stuff, because there was still a big need for a big labor force. So I really feel like this movie was a very big part of that marketing at the time. It's very, very entertaining. And yeah, man, mind you, I remember the Fightful, and then Fightful Goes West, and then all that other stuff when I was a kid. And mind you, they replay this movie on Channel 11 all the time. And it's a hitter. It's a hitter. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that makes you look at the Statue of Liberty in a different light, because that clearly I love seeing the Statue of Liberty in bronze. Try to find a photo of her in bronze, but she hasn't been bronze for about 100 years. So, yeah. It was just real nice, and and mind you, even the detail of the French bird, because the Statue of Liberty came from the French. So, yeah, even that detailing was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm at the level of talk too much, so I'm done.
You can't talk enough about this movie because it was fantastic. And you know what? I think this is the executive consultant's first time seeing this movie. I'm really, really anticipating what he could have to say. Will it be positive? Will it be negative? Let's find out now.
Well, dramatic pause. I realize every time I get to my section, I realize this last time. It's what I do. You ask me, and then I'm like, and I like sigh, and I have to think about it. Like, what's the direction I'm going to with this movie? And I paused this time because I was, in the middle of doing something, wrapping something up, stalling, because I already know which direction I'm going with this movie. And I'm listening to E, and I'm listening to Vic, and so many positives, and I'm happy, and I'm proud that y'all saying it, because there's a lot to be proud of when it comes to this movie, right? The thing is, don't ask me because I can't name any. Oh my gosh, man. I was falling asleep so many times for this movie. This movie put me to tears. I'm glad you put a rain cloud there, because instead of the water coming from my head, it's actually coming from my eyes. I was crying throughout this whole movie, not because I felt sad for him. There was this one scene, right? There was this one scene I love so much. It was like, the little girl mouse, I call her a little girl, but it really is a mouse. It's a little mouse, right? And she's like, no, was it the father? I can't remember. That's how boring it was. They were like, I think Fievel's alive. And they were like, if you keep thinking that, it won't go away. And I was like, oh, shoot, this movie's not going to end? I need this movie to go away. That's what I was thinking in my head. I felt the pain. He was looking all sad because his son was gone. I was looking sad because I was watching this movie. This movie was boring as F. BAF. Boring as F. We talk about the times of Little Mermaid. We talk about times of Robin Hood. And I had to be subjected to watch this little rat-infested, cat-infested, mouse-infested movie. That's exactly how I felt while I was watching this movie. Please.
Come on. The fruit fly came over here.
There was a roach, too. That roach was smart as hell.
Yeah, it was smart not to have that many scenes in this movie, because this movie was crap, man. And the roach was actually the voice actor from Little Mermaid. He was in there. He's like, Sebastian, the prince, the king wants to see you right away. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Something to be interested in this movie. This movie, since the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, I was so happy to see credits. But I will tell you a positive thing about the movie. E was singing. And that's definitely a positive. But E was singing in a pre-production, and I actually like that song. I might download that song.
Yeah, it was number 2 on the Billboard when it came out.
It was good. It was a good song. So I have to say, because I forgot it was from this movie. So when I heard it at the end, it was like it doubled my excitement for the fact that the movie was over. One, because the movie was over. Two, hold on, Vic, what do you?
I think you lying. I think you love this.
Oh, trust me, I'm not.
I think the child Chris inside you just like yearned for something like this.
There's a reason why I never watched this movie again. I did watch this movie before. After seeing this, I realized I had seen this movie before, but I was so bored by it, even at the age of good old whatever I was. I did not enjoy this movie. It was not a good movie. It was boring. No, let me put it this way.
Not a good.
Let me rephrase.
Not a good.
Let me rephrase. We both know that's not true, but let me rephrase. Right. I don't believe it was not a good movie. Yeah. So I misspoke when I said that. That is not true. I think it was a good movie. I just think it was not an entertaining movie to me, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, because you don't care about the well-being of
anybody but my family.
Anybody, yeah.
That is absolutely 100% true.
That's called there's a little bit of sociopathy happening with that, but
I feel you.
Proceed.
I feel you.
Just a little bit. Like, that's what these movies are for, to build people's conscience and build, like, an understanding and conceptualization of a moral compass. And, like, the fact you must have missed a lot of these. Like, that being said, I'm not saying that everybody has to have the same moral compass to be, like, good, or that even anybody and everybody has to be good, but, like, just, like, objectively, you clearly missed a lot of these conditioning films.
I have proper conditioning, and I have proper moral aptitude when
I'm
it
sure.
comes to certain things. Like, for instance, I felt extremely sorry for anybody subjected to watching this movie. And that's what we call empathy, young lady. That's what we call empathy. And I had it all over. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, and I was thinking about it, I was like, hey, should I have my children watch this with me? And then I realized that CPS would have knocked on my door because they're like, wow, you really, like, this is what you do to your kids? What? This is what you do to your kids? And I would have to say, no, please, Mr. or Mrs. Officer, I'm a better father than that. You know, and I say, you know what? No, go ahead and play. You know what?
You're not the only person that didn't like this movie. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs down. One of them said it was too scary for kids.
I can see why they would say that.
Well, the cats were kind of scary.
The cats were a little scary.
The cats, there was a little animal in the sewer that was eating roaches. And gross.
That mouse contraption that they made,
that was wild.
That was fire. Like,
wasn't it?
Mice coming together. You know what? Pinky needed all those mice.
Pinky.
For the brain?
Yes. I mean the brain. The brain would have had all those mice. He would have accomplished what he was accomplishing. You know what I mean?
The brain would have found a way to destroy the world after watching that daggone.
The brain would have
been so upset.
The brain would have made a good politician.
Facts. What?
Especially in that community, looking for a leader.
Yes. You know what? We should review Pinky and the Brain.
We should.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Find out we're reviewing on Tuesday as well as next Thursday. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
And mind you, here's the thing. Here's the other thing. You know what I mean? Nobody's bomb. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, like, you know what I mean? It's not. You know what I mean? So clear. You know what I mean? You know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Come on. You know. Yeah, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Thumbs up, man. Thumbs up. I talk too much. Sorry.
Stand in my corner. Just this one last time.
You're my friend. Why don't you stop this fight? Hey, don't do this to me.
I'm always down.
I cannot be defeated.
Somebody get a doctor in here!
Soon, whole world will know my name. Drago.
He's had one professional fight, and one man is dead.
It's suicide! You can't win!
Don't be alarmed, we're Negroes. Oh, man, that's too much bass in your voice. That scare white folks. Martin Lawrence. We were wondering if we can burn some brown sugar. Will Smith. You see, you have something wrong with you. What's up? More will be served. Freeze! Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Damn! I gotta watch this one.
Facts. That was a good. That's the best one in my opinion.
He killed what's his face dad, right? That's the one, right?
That shit brings it all back. Brings it all back. Freaking Apollo Creed dies in this movie, and then
Michael B. Jordan's father. Michael B. Jordan's father.
Back to American Tail. You know,
join us this coming Tuesday for episode Rocky 4. Looking forward to that one. And of course, next week, we begin our new theme for the month, which this case is going to be buddy movies. Looking forward to that one. And we're going to start off with none other than the movie known as Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Looking forward to that one as well. But today we're talking about the last of this month, which is political theme, and for political America theme. And we're talking American Tail, which is this young lady's
political America.
Yeah,
that's redundant and incorrect. Once again, you need to get these themes together. Are you still doing that? Months later, messing up the theme? This is Patriotic Month.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we're talking American Tail, which is hers pick, and we're talking about it right now. Go ahead, E. Let's start with Mufasa. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Well, no, I mean, this clearly is thumbs up, depending on. I mean, look, in my opinion, everything is a matter of perspective. And what I like about this movie is that it gives you a relatable perspective from the immigrant point of view, but it can also teach a person that never went through that what they pretty much go through. Because what happens is that you come into this country and you either get whitewashed or blackwashed, one of the two. You know what I'm saying? Usually you just go whatever colors you're closest to. But this movie, it shows you that, and mind you, it even shows you how Pfeiffer was trying to pick up Tony's mannerisms and things like that, and starting to act like him and things like that in certain places. So that things like that, like, I really appreciate it. But like I said before, this thing is advertising all over it. It's literally just showing you that America is the shining city on a hill, and that's why I say it has Ronald Reagan all over it. So yeah, clearly thumbs up.
Righto. Well, this is obviously a thumbs up for me as well. It was my pick because I think that when people think patriotism, they don't quite always equate that with the immigrants that, one, built this country up to what it is today, as prosperous a nation as it is, and two, they don't think of animated films being able to actually teach about history and also I don't want to say the word tolerance, but just being able to identify with a culture of people that are different from yourself. I think that movie does that executes that very well. As a child, like, I distinctly remember being like, why would the cats do this? Like, yeah, they eat mice like cats, but like, what's going on? And also, why do they think there's no cats in America? Like, I'm very confused by that. They seem like that's like, they just don't know anything about America. Like, what's going on? Like, clearly somebody else is going to try to eat them, and it will be a cat, just an American cat. What's going on? Obviously, they took different liberties with the story to make it palatable for children and families. But I really love this film. I think that, I said this earlier, I think it's one of those movies that really captures humanity and teaches you about humanity, and also teaches you about joining with your brothers, man, in the name of America or whatever. So thumbs up. America! For you and me.
A whole new world?
Did you see how they
a whole new world? Yes, America.
I gotta tell you, when I think of this movie, it's a lot to think about, because you have to look at the undertones of the movie and what it represents. You have to understand what we're talking about here for this month. And anytime you see a kid separated from their parents through no means of their own, no fault of their own, it does tug at the heartstrings. So because of all that, I have to say that this movie still gets a thumbs down for me. It is some crap. It's some garbage. I was bored out my mind. I don't understand why you picked it. I don't understand how this is anybody's favorite. There's so many good animated movies out there that this should not have been in. This movie was out there for me. Terrible. Terrible.
Well, this movie swept the other Disney movie that was out at the time. The Disney movie that was out at the time, also about a mouse. Also a pretty good movie. The Great Mouse Detective, one of my favorite Disney movies.
That was a better movie.
And hey,
that was it.
You want to know what this was?
Why is this telling the story of a white man?
Remember this?
This sounds like something from that Ninja Turtles that everyone hates.
James Brown, Living in America.
Oh,
Same.
Living in America.
Time period.
Wasn't that Rocky IV?
Yes.
It is.
Same,
I watched Rocky IV right before American Time.
same time period, same programming. Rocky IV is the Cold War.
Well, wait till we get to Rocky IV. Wait till we get to Rocky IV, and we'll talk about that. We'll see how that goes with my thing. E, take us home.
This movie had a budget of $9 million. Don Bluth was the director. It multiplied that exponentially. 84 million. It's good. Don't listen to Chris. Watch it now. Show your kids.
Facts.
Show yourself.
Facts.
My daughter walked in and walked out. Told it was the smartest thing she's ever done.
Billy!
You got your jeans. You got a rain cloud in the corner of her head.
Billy!
You got your jeans. I'm almost done.
Billy! Billy!
Good night, everybody.